Hello you lot, how's it all going? You all alright? Good. I've been playing around with this little RB engine recently, you've all seen it. A lot of you said that it needs a turbo plug. It doesn't need a turbo plug. I am going to make another video on this engine and I'll prove to you that a turbo plug does not fit. I've got several turbo plugs. Doesn't fit in there, it's too big. But I'll get a button for it. I've also been selling all this ham radio equipment. I've got a box there, got to put some bubble wrap in it and post that. That's been sold. Got another one in there, another ATU been sold. But I get a lot of questions, well, a lot of people, they ask me all the time. Obviously people watch, I used to do a thing called story time. So I've had recently an influx actually of comments asking when's the next story time. Obviously some people watch the old videos and then want some more. I got to a point where I told all my old stories, so I've run out of stories basically. But something happened to me that was a bit strange about 4 weeks ago, so I suppose it could qualify for a story time. Let's have one. Right then you lot, so it all started around about 4 weeks ago. I was at work minding my own business, just chilling out, doing my work. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm a bit peckish. So I decided to stop, got out of Snickers and started nibbling on my Snickers. And I thought, let's have a look at the telephone and see if anything's occurred on there. And maybe surf some net or something for a sort of half an hour or so before I get back to work. So I had a few things on the telephone. But one thing what stuck out to me was an Instagram message. And I thought I'd have a look at that. And it was from a person. I won't say their name just in case it is their proper name, but I don't think it was. Sent me a message saying a few things, just had a kid and all that kind of stuff. And he goes, you probably won't reply. I was like, oh well, I'll reply to every message I get, every single one, right? I will reply to in some way. And so I said, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, hi, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I had my kids at a certain age, blah, 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 20s. One kid at 20 and all that kind of stuff. And he goes, wow, you replied. And I was like, yeah, of course I did. I always reply. He was gobsmacked. He couldn't believe that I'd replied. And so we had a little conversation, a little talk. And he said to me that he works for Wheelspin Models. So I was like, brilliant, very nice dude, very nice. He was talking to me about how much he loves RC cars and all that kind of stuff. Works for works for Wheelspin Models. Wants to work there full time eventually, but he's working part time at the moment. And I was just like, brilliant. This is a nice, a nice chap, having a good old chat there with a subscriber, as I like to do. And then he said, can I phone you? So I was like, well, I've got sort of 15 minutes left on my break. Yeah, okay. And on Instagram, you can do an internet call. You don't have to have any phone numbers. You can do an internet call. So I was like, all right then. So he phoned me, I answered. So now we're talking on the phone. So I can hear his voice, I can hear what he sounds like. Sounds like what he says he is, 21-year-old man, essentially. He's talking to me about how he works for Wheelspin Models. Talking to me about, because I reached out to most model shops about 2-3 weeks prior to this. And I reached out to them to see if they wanted to give me a sponsor, or just one thing, and then I'll make a few videos. It gets the ball rolling for the channel, doesn't it? If I get one sponsor or one item, make some videos on it, other shops might see that I'm trustworthy and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was talking to him. He was talking to me about that, and I was talking back. And he reckoned that he might better pull some strings within Wheelspin Models and maybe get me something, a bit of a sponsor. So I was like, brilliant. Okay, yeah, no problem. And then he said, actually, I might better help you out. I was like, okay, what do you mean? Because we was talking about RC cars, and I said that I'd quite like a low C5T eventually. That's what I want to work up to. I like those cars, always like those cars. Since the first time they came out, I thought I'd like one of them. And I was telling him about how I want to work up to one of them, buy and sell nitro cars and work my way up enough money, but about £1,800, aren't they, to get one. Or maybe even just a second-hand one, about 900 quid or so. or if I can get enough, if I can do a few sponsorships or whatever, get trusted, maybe I'd be lucky enough to get one, a new version, when the new version of a Low C5T comes out, because at the moment they haven't got a new one, have they? The version 2's already out. Might be able to get one of them in the future. And he said, I better help you out. I've got a Low C5T. I was like, right, okay, so what do you want to do? You want to sell it to me? He said, no, I'll give it to you. I said, give it to me? He's like, well, yeah, why not? And at this point, as I'm sure you lot can understand, my head now is going red flag. Red flag. Now, there's a rule of thumb that I work by in general life. If something sounds too good to be true, it is. Don't believe it. Right? That's something that I work by. As you lot know, I have got like free cars in the past from various subscribers. They've sent me nitro cars for free and other bits and bobs, exhausts and other stuff, which I'm very grateful for. But I don't ever believe that that's actually going to happen until it happens. Yeah, until it arrives on the doorstep. Well, until it arrives on the doorstep. And I open it and see the stuff with my own eyes. Then I believe it, right? So even if you lot have said, if you lot that have sent me an RC car in the past, I haven't believed you until it's turned up on the doorstep. Then I'll believe you. Because that's the way it goes in life, you know. People say things and they just don't go through with it. Normally if someone's going to give you something of any value for free, until you actually see it in your hands, just believe it ain't going to happen. So anyway, obviously thinking in my head, this kid's full of rubbish, you know. Nobody's going to give anybody a Low C5T because there's a lot of, that's over $1,000. Even second hand is about $1,000's worth. He told me it had some bits and bobs upgrades and stuff. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, all right then. I said, you know, fair enough. I'm going along with it. I said, all right, I'll pay for the postage. Because he told me where he was. And it was about, well, my map said it was about 4 hours away, but he reckoned it was 2.5. But anyway, I looked it up on Apple Maps. So that's where we are at the moment. He's offered to give me a Low C5T, right? So I said, well, all right, I'll pay for the postage. So I've now offered to pay for the postage for this RC car. And he said, well, it's just a bit of a ball ache, isn't it, to post it? I was like, well, all right, fair enough, it's a big old car. And then he was like, well, actually, I've got some more cars you can have as well. So I was like, right. And then he was carrying on about, I said, dude, are you sure you want to give me this? There's a lot of money there, it's a lot of stuff. Are you sure you want to give it away? And he said, yeah, I've got a 5-bedroom house. I'm a very lucky person. So I was like, right, brilliant. He said, whatever, you know, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say whatever, you know. If someone actually wants to give me this stuff, of course, I'll accept it. Who wouldn't? And then we was going on about, you know, meeting halfway and stuff like that, which I haven't got time for, right? I couldn't meet halfway. So I said, I'm just going to have to, you know, not going to have to bother because I'm not going to have time to come and meet you halfway or do anything like that or go anywhere really of any significant distance. So then he said, it's all right, I've got a Tesla. I can just drive down to you all the way. I said, right, okay, no problem. Now this is where it gets weird. This is where it gets weirder. So I'd told, well, I hadn't told them yet. I hadn't told anybody yet. We're still in this conversation. I'm still on my lunch break, right? I've got the bottom half of a Snickers in one hand and a can of Shandy in the other. I'm on the telephone to this man who wants to give me a Low C5T, a Hyper 7 and some other bits and other cars. 16 cars in total he wanted to give me. We went through all the details about putting all the seats down in the car and all that kind of stuff. Then he wanted to meet me in Chelmsford. I said, dude, if you want to meet me in Chelmsford, then, dude, you might as well come all the way to where I work. He wanted to come during the week. So I said, right, if you want to come during the week, you might as well come to where I work. I gave him an address to an industrial estate near where I work, about 15 minutes away from where I work. Now, the reason for that, I'll tell you in a minute. Now he said, I've got to go, all of a sudden. We was having a conversation, all of a sudden, poof, got to go. I was like, right, okay. He sent me his telephone number then. And I can't remember exactly what he said. But he said something along the lines of, give me a text on there or whatever. Now, I didn't use my personal phone. I have a work phone, you see, as well. And not registered to me or any way, affiliated to me in any way whatsoever. So I sent him a text on that and it went through his iMessage. So then we was talking through texts through telephone, through text message, iMessages. And so I'd given him an address to an industrial estate near where I work. And my plan was, at this point, well, I should explain, at this point, the conversation on the telephone is over. I've gone about my daily work and the day's nearly over. I've parked up my machine, got some bit of diesel, and I've gone down to the canteen where everyone else is. And I've said, no, you won't believe what's happened to me today. They said, what's that? I said, I had someone send me a message, so I replied. They was gobsmacked. Then they phoned me up. Now they want to give me about 2.5 grand's worth of RC cars. They said, that's too good to be true. I said, yeah, it does. I'm not believing it yet. I'm not believing it until it actually happens. But it just seems a bit strange. They said, yeah. I said, well, he wants to come and drop them off to me because he didn't want to post them and I haven't got time to go up there. So he wants to drop them off. So they said, right. I said, I've given them the address to the industrial estate about 15 minutes down the road. I know the name of it. I told them the name of it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if this does all pan out, he's going to give me 16 or more cars. Yeah, I'll give one to you. And he was like, right, okay, I've always... The people I work with, they know what nitro cars are and stuff. They're older people. They know what they are. Sometimes I bring them to work and they're like, oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, oh, cool, that's really good, I said, if it pans out, I'll give you one. Yeah, if you come down to the industrial estate with me. Now, you never, ever meet a stranger on your own. Don't care how old you are. I'm a grown man, yeah? Don't care how old you are. You never meet a stranger on your own, yeah? So, I'd given him the address of this industrial estate down the road. And my plan was, me and 2 other of my work colleagues were going to go down there on our lunch break. Because I had agreed on a Wednesday with this bloke on the telephone, yeah. He wanted to come down on a Wednesday. So I'd arranged with these. I said, look, on Wednesday, we'll just go down there on our lunch break. Because I told him the time as well. The time was on our lunch break. I said, we'll go down there. We'll go down the hot dog stand. We'll get a hot dog. And we'll sit there for half an hour. If he turns up, brilliant. I'll meet a subscriber, I'll shake his hand, I'll have a photograph, whatever he wants to do, have a good old chat for half an hour and take the cars off of him if he does bring any cars to give me. It's all legitimate, fantastic. If he doesn't turn up, we've gone down and got a hot dog. So they were like, alright, yep, sounds good. Sounds bloody good. So, anyway, that was on a Wednesday that week. Had a couple of text messages to and fro for Thursday. Didn't have no messages with this bloke on a Friday. And then all of a sudden, on the Sunday afternoon, he sent me a message and he said, are we all good for tomorrow? Now that we originally agreed on a Wednesday, but he said that it's on a Sunday, are we good for tomorrow? So that being a Monday. So I was like, makes no difference to me, thought to myself. So I said, yep, 100%. He said, good. That was pretty much the end. Now, Monday come along. Again, I'm not believing any of this is actually going to pan out, right? I'm just not. If he sent me a message or phoned me up and said, right, I'm on the motorway, I'm going to be about an hour or whatever, then I would have been like, right, okay, it's getting a bit serious now. Okay, fair enough. Perhaps this is going to happen. Monday morning, I'm still in the mindset of this ain't happening, because it's just far too good to be true at the moment. So I didn't hear nothing from him. It got to about 10 o'clock and we had arranged to meet, I think he said about 3 o'clock to start with. So it's about 10 o'clock now. I didn't hear nothing. So I just sent him a message. I can't remember exactly what I said. It was something like, I hope you don't get stuck in traffic. Just something like that, just to see if he's there. And it didn't go through as an iMessage. In fact, it went through as a text. Now that normally means either one of you hasn't got a good signal, you've been blocked, or you've got I think if you have time-sensitive notifications, they might go through as texts and not iMessages. I'm not entirely sure as that on an Apple. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, so I'm like, right, yeah, whatever. Sent them a couple more. Said, are we looking for time? Are you still going to be there at 3 o'clock? The time that you said, because if he's going to be if he's in traffic or anything, I don't mind. I'll wait around. I just want to know, because I don't want him turning up at this industrial estate where I've told him to go. And I'm not there. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to time it so that we can both be there at the same time. It's just what you do. It's just general organisation, right? No reply whatsoever. But anyway, I needed to ring up. I needed to find out if Wheelspin Models had a particular thing in stock that I was looking at the time. So I decided to myself, right, I'm going to phone up to ask you if they got this thing in stock. But I'm also going to ask you if they've got anybody that works there under the name that this person had given me. So I phoned them up. I asked them if they had anybody that works there under the name. And lo and behold, they said, nope. Nobody works here under that name. I said, what, no one at all? You haven't had anybody? No, nobody. Never had anybody work here under that name. Right, I said. Right. That was when I knew that it was definitely not true. Because, well, he'd spent a good half an hour on the phone to me telling me about how he works at Wheelspin Models. He knows all the people there. A bloke called Frank, who is an idiot apparently. Some other people who don't know how to do their job or whatever. He was telling me all this kind of stuff. And then he was like, I love working there. But then he was like, everyone's an idiot. Right. Telling me everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying people that there are an idiot, but this is what he was telling me. Do you know what I mean? General chat. The chat flowed well. It was as if he wasn't making it up. He must be very good at making stuff up. I don't know. So I went over to the couple of people the people I work with that were going to come down the industrial estate with me, and I said, look, I'm not getting any messages from him anymore. I phoned up the shop he says he works for, the big RC shop, the Wheelspin Models, and they said he doesn't work there. So the whole story appears to be a complete lie. I don't think he's not going to turn up. I said, shall we go down there anyway? Go and get a hot dog for lunch. Go down there, see if anybody turns up with any RC cars in the boot or whatever. Fill up with RC cars in the car, whatever. We just go down there. So we did. Went down there. Spent about 45 minutes down there. Got a hot dog. Then I got hungry again, so I got a burger. No one turned up. Nobody turned up there. I didn't get any messages, any phone calls from this kid saying, where are you? No, I can't find you. And nothing like that. Completely went dead. Then I tried to send him a message, and I thought, right, I said, I know you don't work for Wheelspin Models. And the message didn't go through. It failed to send. So, there we go, you lot. That is, now I'm thinking to myself, me being me, I think to myself, do I think that he is really an idiot? Or do I think, well, there's a couple of things that I could think. But I was hoping that he hadn't had a crash, because if he was genuine and he actually was on his way to give me this stuff, but he had a crash on the motorway, that would be so bad, you lot. That would be so bad. But I've got no way of finding out. Even now the messages don't go through. The other day I was talking about it with the people at work, and they were like, try and send him another message. I'm not going to bother calling him up. He said, try and send him another message. So I just put hi. And it failed to send. So he definitely blocked the number. That's my work number, so whatever. So I don't think he had a crash. But I suspect the situation was that he is a genuine person, sent me a message, was a bit shocked and gobsmacked that I replied, and then just got carried away and said he'd give me all this stuff, but he couldn't give it to me, doesn't want to give it to me. Perhaps his mum or dad said, no, you're not giving anybody away that stuff, because he's only 21, I don't know. And then he didn't want to get out, he couldn't get out of the lie, so the easiest thing to do was just to go ahead with it until the end and then block me. But who knows? I mean, it was the talk at work, it was the talk of everybody for a while. But there you go, you lot. Bit of a story, bit of a weird story. But I suppose in a way that's the reason why he called me a big he goes, you're a big well-known YouTuber. I can't believe you've replied to me. And I was like, I'm not a big well-known YouTuber. There's, I've got 4,600 subscribers, and there's people out there that have got hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers. I'm grateful for every single one that I have got, but I'm a small fry in the world of YouTube, But I think that's the reason why a lot of the big YouTubers don't reply to people, don't reply to messages, because you get people doing that kind of stuff. Very crazy. But there you go, you lot. Bit of a story time. I hope you could follow along and it made sense to you in your head about the situation and how it panned out. But there you go, bit of a story time for you lot. I'll catch you lot later on. All the best. Enjoy your life, and yeah, ciao for now, you lot.